Buffalo at Kansas City. This is the primetime game. Some would say it's the main event. Kansas City is a 1.5 point favorite. At least they were as we came on the air. I have not checked the number in the last, 40 minutes. The total was 47.5. Before we get into it, I do want to say I love our watchers and our viewers and our listeners because the Saquon Barkley rushing prop that started at 127.5 is now up to 129.5. So good for you guys for jumping on that so fast. Way to move the market. Here we go again, Simon. AFC title game. Patrick Mahomes, short favorite. We both loved it at 1.5 on Sunday night.
Simon says, give me the Chiefs -1.5.
Woo! Simon says Chiefs -1.5.
This line's going to go up to 2.5 by kick, in my opinion. I do think the professionals will come in on this Chiefs side, and it really is a game where, not to take anything from this Bills season, it's been incredible. I think even Bills fans would tell you this was supposed to be, win the division, maybe get in as a 4-3 seed. Happy as hell to be at this spot. And obviously, when you're carrying whatever it is, 30 million, it could be of dead cap because of Stephon Diggs. It's a big deal. They have an aging defense. We've heard ad nauseum how they have a small, undersized defense that can be run on. We know the deal. It's Josh Allen. It's the magic of Josh Allen. So if you're someone that is betting him here, you're basically, that's all you can hang your hat on. You're just betting on the year of Josh Allen. And again, the reason I thought he was the MVP, him and Peyton Manning, the only all-pros ever to have no other all-pros on their team. Like, that's an insane stat. This guy was an all-pro. I mean, we talked that he didn't do it alone. Obviously, it's a full team. The offensive line, Cooks, the running back. Like, he has weapons, but it is all Josh Allen. Like, that game against the Bills, against the Ravens, I should say, that was the new Josh Allen, the smart Josh Allen that doesn't make mistakes, shoot himself in the foot Josh Allen. I mean, I was waiting for it. I don't know about you, Chad. I was waiting for it in that game. Like, I was like, one's coming with Josh. He's going to throw one. He's going to get pissed. He's going to be impatient because you could see in that second half, he was getting pissed off. He was like, why is McDermott not letting me just run this offense right now? Why are we keep running into these 7 front walls? And he didn't do it. Like, I really tip my hat to him. That's my favorite part about this is seeing the growth in different players. And it's like, that was the next step for Josh, was to get rid of the stupid turnover, especially in the red zone, and he's done that. So, yes, heading into this game, no one's model should have the Bills as a favorite here. They should be an underdog in this spot. Like, the Chiefs, they're a better team across the board. The number being below 3 is just a respect that the bookmakers and a lot of professionals have for Josh Allen and what he's done this season. And the fear of betting against him, right? That's another part of this. But when I dove into this game, the first thing I thought to myself, Chad, was I would handicap this totally different if this was in Orchard Park rather than it's an Arrowhead. And that, to me, is the difference. I mean, Matt Mitchell knows the only games they've lost this year, what's the big common factor in all those games? It's on the road. Like, they were perfect at home this season, but on the road, it was just a different story. They lost to the Ravens. We all remember that in September, 10-35. Then they lost to Houston, a game we loved. Then they had that crazy game against the Rams that Josh Allen did everything he could, still fell short, right? Because of this defense. They gave up 44 points. They lost 42-44. Insane win the next week against the Lions. Well, like, seriously, he was full on God mode. They went 48-42. Like, we're talking insane numbers here. And then, obviously, we don't really count it. They had lost to the New England Patriots end of the season on the road. And, when I break it all down with this Bills team, it's like, it's all about what kind of Josh Allen's going to show up here, Chad. Like, I know betting the Chiefs here, we could easily get burned. If Josh Allen has the ball last, I just can't see him losing it. Like, this is his year. It really is. Like, it's his moment. That's why I love all the conversation around Lamar getting too much hate for that game. It's like, well, if he would have got the 2-pointer, the game would have been tied. Yeah, Josh Allen had a minute 32 timeouts. Like, that game was dead. It was over. And, when I look at this game here, it's the same type of view. If Josh has the ball and last, I do think I'll get burned here. But, I mean, you talk Sunday night. I do think it's about the number here. And 1.5, to me, that's great value. Like, it's below the key number of 2, which I talk all the time about. That Ravens game landed on 2. We see it all the time now, though. It's 2 has become such an important number. So that's why I made it Simon Says, Chad. When I saw that you could still get 1.5 right now at our sponsor, Bet365, it's like, tell the people go get it. I know Depends on your book, what state you're in. You might already be stuck on the 2, but I really hope you can find the 1.5. It's just such a key number.
I'm shocked that it hadn't moved to 2 already because the juice has been headed in that direction for at least 24 hours. So the fact it's still sitting at 1.5 is a bit of a surprise. You beat me to the punch on the Simon Says because I want to make this my exact decision.
Do it. I mean, there's like
And
4 games to pick up. I mean, there's
I
only
know,
2 games to pick from. I mean,
I
no one's
know.
going to fault
So
you.
what I would like to do, because the other thing I was going to do was grab the Chiefs on the money line at minus 125 because that is still available,
Yeah.
still a relatively good price. I would like permission from you and from Matt Mitchell as the partners and arbiters of our rules that it's not a cop out to be taking Kansas City on the money line because I do have reasons to want to do it, and the number's so short that uh, I'm not. It's not like I'm taking a 6 point favorite.
Yeah, it's below minus 150. I'll definitely. Yeah, Matt Mitchell allowed. I'll allow it.
All right,
It's not
then
that
I
bad
am
of juice.
taking my exact decision is KC on the money line. Um, Here's a stat from Evan
Yeah, give me some
Abrams.
stats.
In home games in November or later, when the temperature is 40 degrees or less, Mahomes is 23-2 straight up in his career. He's won 20 in a row, 20 in a row, hasn't lost since losing to Tom Brady in 2019. So I know, like, okay, great, regression, jinx, whatever. Like, it's Patrick Mahomes. And Brady actually said something. He was on Cowherd the other day. He said something that I thought was just crazy smart. Why is Patrick Mahomes so good in the playoffs? Because more often than not, especially at the end of the game, you've got to stop him for 4 downs. And it's so freaking hard to stop Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes 4 straight downs from moving the ball and getting the first down that they need. It just is. And so, as much as you are saying Josh Allen gets the ball at the end, Patrick Mahomes gets the ball at the end.
Yeah.
And I also think if Patrick Mahomes has a lead and he has the ball with 4 minutes left, they win that game. They don't give the ball up. And I don't think the Bills can stop them. So that's why I like the Chiefs. I'm really excited about our futures conversation because right now the Eagles have the shortest odds and the Chiefs have the second shortest odds. And so when we are talking about this on Thursday, I'm excited to get into this a little bit more deeply. I do have concerns. I have big, big concerns about the Chiefs. Would you like to hear some of them?
I love to hear so.
All right. So the Chiefs running game, not nearly explosive as the Ravens. And that's how the Chiefs got themselves, or the Ravens got themselves back into the game against the Bills, because I do think that rush defense was a little bit exploitable. Concern or not concerned for you?
Not concerned.
How come?
I think Houston is like a legit, like top 5 defense, especially against the run. The Bills are bottom of the barrel. They're undersized. This is an undersized team, and I think Matt Milano might miss this game as well. Who, if you go back and watch that Ravens game, Chad, he was
the
game
difference.
changer. Yeah, he was big time, and he basically didn't play the final 3 snaps of that game because of an injury. So, McDermott's been shut mouth about it, but just reading between the lines, it seems like he is going to miss that switch. To me, the defense that can't afford to lose someone as important to him and against a Chiefs team like this, it's going to be deadly for matchups for offensively.
Also might be missing Rapp in the secondary.
Yeah.
And they might be down 2 defensive backs, 2 starters. So, okay. Thank you for that. Here was a great, this conversation about Patrick Mahomes and the flopping and the penalties. And we talked
Yeah.
about it. Like, I love grouchy Troy Aikman. He's become my favorite announcer. I think his attitude and approach and honesty with everything, he's just entered the fuck it. I'm a Hall of Famer and I'm Troy Aikman making 18 million a year. I don't give a shit what I say anymore.
He's no Tony Kornheiser, but he's good.
He's great though. He's great. So I at first I was like, are the refs going to be cautious calling penalties on Mahomes, given the blowback this weekend? Will they get a call from the league office? Do you have any concerns about that? And then I have something I heard from on the Ryan Russillo pod, which blew me away.
No, because even if you go and watch it, like the thing I loved about Troy getting so mad about was that is when he slid in the middle of the field and the two defenders hit above his head and they flagged it, right? Unnecessary roughness. They flagged it because if those two dudes collide and meet at Mahomes' head, the three-peat is over. That dude is concussed, dead on the field. That's why they threw that flag. Like, they don't want it to be ended because of a dirty hit or an injury. They want it to be ended because they lose a game. That was the whole reason the refs were throwing those flags, to protect the guy. It's like, that's why I love Troy Aikman losing a shit about it. It's like, Troy, you probably could have played for 5 more years if they would protect you the same way, dude. Like, it's just, you just sound like, again, I know you love me. You sound like just a bitter old man that's just tired of how soft the league has gotten. But it's like, we need this league to be soft. We all have gone through seasons of backups. It is the worst ever watching just terrible quarterback play in this league. So that's why they need to protect guys, especially a guy like Mahomes. So, yeah, that was, the flop, I think, was what really pissed him off, which everyone online got pissed off about. But that wasn't even flagged. So, again, people think the Chiefs get all these flags. When you probably break it down, it's probably closer to 50-50 than people realize. But I guess, as fans, we just get pissed off about this stuff. So, yeah, it's low-hanging fruit. I'm with them, though. It pisses me off, too, watching Mahomes get all these flags on key third downs.
For the record, Troy Aikman's always been grumpy. I remember, because I've been a reporter for a long time.
You have.
With Sports Illustrated, I went down to SI to Dallas in 1994. We did an entire week with the Cowboys. We had full access. We did an entire issue of Sports Illustrated about the week with the Cowboys. So me and Rick Tellender was the senior writer who was writing
30 years of the Cowboys' favorite time period.
Yeah, it was great, right? It was like the early 90s, and you knew exactly where to hang out, what clubs they were at. Like, you'd go hang out.
Cell phone in sight.
Oh my God, it was amazing, right? But I remember sitting with Aikman in the locker room, and this was when the NFL was changing a lot of the balls and sort of making quarterbacks use different balls. And he was in the locker room testing out a bag of balls and just he's like, this fucking league, they keep trying to fuck things. Like, he was just so angry about having to use different balls. Like, he clearly just can be a grouchy guy, which I've come to appreciate.
Which is insane. Imagine being that good looking, having the career he's had, and then being grouchy. Will never make sense.
I fucking love it. Russillo had a great stat. Here's a trivia for you. The past 2 years, Kansas City opponents have been flagged for 48 penalties in the fourth quarter and OT of one-score games. How many have the Chiefs had in the same time period, in the same circumstances?
Like I said, I bet you it's 50-50.
It is. 47.
Yeah, right near it. So yeah, that's what I mean. We're stupid fans. I mean, let's be serious here. That's how we are. We see that they get the calls because it's in these big moments, but it's because the Chiefs are always playing in these big games. And it's been making the rounds today or yesterday. That Chris Jones flag against Tom Brady, that was the last time, like you just said, the last time he lost this game, it was that game on a 4th down.
That's right.
Brady gets an insane call, goes down, ties the game, or wins the game in overtime. It's like, they give the breaks to the guys. That's just how it is. He's always going to get the calls because it's Mahomes, but you just broke it down. It's not as egregious as we make it out to be, but, we talk all the time. The refs dictate a lot of these games. Even that Bills game, that ghost holding call. So Lamar has that pick. The Bills get the ball. Josh Allen has a perfect pass. It should be 3rd and 3. They called a ridiculous holding penalty against the Bills. It wasn't even a hold. You just smacked the guy's arms down.
Yeah.
So instead of being 2nd and 3, it backed them up to wherever it was, 2nd and 19. And then they went 3 and out and they punted. So now I had to hear everyone today say, well, that pick didn't even hurt Lamar. And it's like, yeah, because the refs made that call. So that's what I mean. We talk all the time. Like, you're going to get your bad calls every game. And like most fans, I hate the Chiefs. So no matter what, I'm going to bitch about the flag. So that's just how it is.
The Bills' rush offense is insanely good right now. The best rush defense by success rate in the NFL this past year was the Broncos. They allowed successful rushes 33.6% of the time. In the wild card game, the Bills had a 50% success rate, the best against the Broncos all season. The next week, the second best rush defense by success rate was the Ravens. The Bills ran all over the Ravens. 55.6% success rate. Should I be concerned about the Bills dominating on the ground against the Kansas City Chiefs?
Yeah, I mean they obviously are gonna have a good run game, but it comes back to Spags. We trust Spags, don't we? I mean, he's been good to us. So yeah, like you said, there's gonna be numbers that are gonna point to this Bills team, but just overall, I can't get there because of the number, brother. That to me is the same thing with the Bills last week. I told you it was like it's all about the number here. If I was getting Lamar at anything greater than +2, auto play. That came out to be the right idea. Same thing here. It's like if you get Josh Allen at +3, I'm happy to take a position on him. But anything below that, I just think what we just talked about, it's an overvalued team. And I don't want to get too sucked into the weeds with the numbers because we talked about it last year. Like
Yeah.
the Chiefs, they do this to us. Like they have the 22nd ranked offense, whatever the hell it is, and none of it makes sense. We know people, we're living it. Like that's the toughest part here. Where coming into this one, I'm trying to find an angle to take Josh Allen because I loved last week. I've loved this whole season with him, and I want him to break down the curse. Like we know the history here. He's 0-3 against Mahomes, and you know. Another funny part, another meme I love that's going around is poor Josh Allen, Bills fan. Even if they win this game, they got to face an NFC East team in the Super Bowl, no matter what. So he could slay a bunch of demons and dragons for this organization. He could get through, get over the hump, get through Mahomes and Arrowhead, and then take on an NFC East team to take them down as well. So I get the love and why. Again, another thing in the media, everyone's talking Bills Super Bowl. Everyone's picking them now. Everyone's all in because we're all sick of this Chiefs team and the Mahomes magic. But we know we're getting great value here. How can we not take this number? 1.5 is just so insane to me that we're actually still getting this number. Like you just said, I thought we'd come in today and it'd be 2, and I was gonna have to scramble and find as Simon says. And that's why I try to jump ahead of you and grab it because I was like, when you didn't say anything in the Eagles game, I'm like shit, Chad might be on the Chiefs here. But we agree, this is just it's too good of a number to pass on right now. There's so much value on this number at this point. So yeah, it's tough because the heart wants the Bills. I think any fan that with a soul wants the Bills in that fan base to get to the Super Bowl and win it. But it's just a bad spot. And this just doesn't feel like the right team with Josh Allen. Like eventually I feel like he will get over the hump. I can't see it here. Like he just doesn't, to me, he doesn't have the dogs around him. But like you said, it's all laid out there. If they can run the ball, no turnovers with him, he has the ball last. Like you said, whoever has the ball last controls that clock, Chad. That's who's going to win it. We know that bet in this game. That's why it is a coin flip game. And to me, that's why you need to take the value on the Chiefs. The coin flip game, the value is on this team right now because it's under the 2 number of keys. So under the key number of 2. If you're just being patient, you want to bet the Bills. I saw late night a bunch of 2s and a halves popping, especially offshore. I think I'll get there by game time because I do think Chiefs money will come in eventually as this week goes along here.
As part of my training, I have no soul.
No.
So I don't care if Josh Allen slays his demons in this
Oh,
game. I
oh,
and I love Matt Mitchell to death,
sounds like it.
and like his happiness is so important to me, and his happiness during our entire relationship, going back to when he was just a guy who listened to Behind the Bets and emailed me when I was at ESPN. Nothing has meant more to me outside of my family than his happiness and growth in his career. But I don't care if Josh Allen slays his demons. I think he's a lovely guy. I want the Chiefs. I want history. I want a three-peat. I want dominance. I want things that have never been done before. That's what I'm rooting for. I had a long conversation with my kid about this the other day, about like how much I like to root for teams to be historic. And I think the Chiefs can be historic. And I actually get to like rooting for them too. Better coach, much better defensive coordinator. I've got the best quarterback in a generation, the best tight end in a generation against a middle of the Bills D that can't stop anybody, even when Matt Milano was playing. Give me the Chiefs.
Yeah. Like, again, I didn't want to do too much of the numbers, so we're running up against the time, but
Yeah.
that's something we
We'll,
didn't get to.
we'll
The
get
numbers,
more on Thursday.
but just the numbers against tight ends. Like you saw Isaiah Leckie, Mark Andrews, it felt like they were always open when Lamar could find them. And do you think we really think it's going to change here against, arguably the greatest tight end that's ever played football and Kelsey? So there are a lot of matchups that do favor this Chiefs team, but you kind of nailed it how the Bills can't pull off this upset. It really is all about that run game, ball control, and Josh Allen. And we know Mahomes is going to get his. But we also know they're going to sputter. Like you said, they've been inconsistent offensively all season, running the ball and a lot of things. So there are ways for the Bills to do it, but I am happy we're both in agreement here because it was no fun last week going against you and then having to bully you Sunday night for your love
Hated
for
it.
Lamar. So I'm happy we're both in love with this number on this Chiefs team at -1.5.
Likely and Andrews, by the way, Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews against the Bills combined for 9 catches, 139 yards, and 1 touchdown.
Damn.
And Mark Andrews was wide open for a game tying 2-point conversion. And you and I are in such a mind meld that I already had that stat.
Love
I
it.
researched it yesterday.